Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Natasha and today we're going to be talking about eyeshadow palettes. There has been a tag going around YouTube called All About My Eyeshadow Palettes tag, and I was intrigued with the tag, so I decided I wanted to come on here and show you my picks. I am a lover of eyeshadow. I love eyeshadow. It was my first love for makeup and I love palettes. I'm drawn to them, intrigued. I buy palettes more than I buy single eyeshadows. However, I'm trying to reverse that and buy more singles that are not limited edition versus eyeshadow palettes that are limited edition, and I can't really talk about them that much. But anyways, let's jump into the questions for the tag, and there is about 13, so I've written them down on my piece of paper. Before I start, the creators of this tag were Allie, Glines, and Samantha March. However, I haven't watched their videos, but I watched a couple other YouTubers do this tag. But the very first one that I did watch was Lauren May Beauty, in which she was the one that kind of intrigued me to do this myself. So the first question says, what is your newest palette in my collection? And that'll have to be, at the moment, the Natasha Denona Safari Palette, and this is what she's looking like. I've had her for a couple of weeks. I played around with her a couple of times. I like her, so she's my newest palette in my collection. Number 2, the oldest palette in my collection, and I had to really think about this one because I do a lot of decluttering, getting rid of stuff, selling stuff, so a lot of my old palettes have left my collection, but I do have a couple that are lingering around, and I think the palettes that I'm about to show you are my oldest. I think they are, but they came in a collection together, so they're 2 separate palettes. This is the Be Merry Be Bright holiday collection from TooFaced a long time ago. This is what that one is looking like, and this was the collection that was at also. And for some reason, I can't get rid of these 2 palettes. I really do like the colors in here, but on some realness, it's old. But anyways, these are my oldest palettes in my collection. I've decluttered a lot of other ones, so yeah. What is my most expensive palette in my collection? And that is gonna have to be, Miss Pat's Midnight Sun. So all of Pat's products I get on sale. I never pay full price. This is the only one that I didn't get on sale. So she is my most expensive palette, and I actually, like, for the most part, this is probably my favorite palette besides one of the other ones that I like. Well, one of my favorite, the bigger palettes out of her collection, but it is the Midnight Sun. I'll take her out of her package. But yeah, out of all, I only have 4. Yeah, and this one is my favorite out of the 4. So, and I feel like, to be honest, whenever anybody shows their palettes on YouTube, it doesn't really show the beauty of it as you can see it in person. So, like, it may look just like average, bland, a burgundy auburn color, a periwinkle color, but when you get this in person, completely different. And how everybody would say the experience, I'm going to totally agree. It just, seeing it on camera and seeing it in person is totally different. What is my most affordable palette? And that will have to be this Wet n Wild old school palette called Knock on Wood. And I don't even remember how much this was. Probably like $2, maybe. But this is my most affordable in my palette collection. Next one is Everyday Palette. So I had 2 choices for this, so I didn't bring my other choice in here. My most everyday palette is the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe collaboration palette, the first one. I just feel like you can do the most everyday looks, like cool tone, warm tone, a pop of color, pop of pink, pop of warm. So I would have to say this is probably this, and I was going to choose my Too Faced chocolate bar palette, but I didn't bring it in here. But that one is too, but that's more neutral. And then I have a Tarte palette, the little circle palette, the Rainforest of the Sea. That one also is an everyday eyeshadow palette. But of course, this is the one I brought in here, so this is what we're going to talk about. Next question is most colorful palette, and this is the palette that is on my eyes now, and it's the Urban Decay Electric palette. I do not have a lot of color palettes in my collection. The most color I have is from Juvia's Place, which I was going to choose one of those palettes, but I just went on ahead because this whole entire palette is colored. It's old school palette. They've already discontinued it, and it's got a new school in its place, but I still have her. I have her on my eyes now. She's my most colorful, and she is still trucking and moving along, so we're going to keep her. Next question. My smallest palette in my collection. Well, I would have picked that Wet n Wild palette again, but just as some variety. It's this B.bombshell palette that I got in like an empty bag a long time ago. It's called Bora. But there she is. She's small, y'all. My biggest palette. I have two. I'm cheating. I have two. I don't know if anybody remembers. Oh, don't fall. This palette from Sephora, the Pantone palette. It was like, what was the color? Radiant Orchid. This big old palette. What was I doing? What was I thinking getting this? I barely picked this up. I don't know why this is still in my collection. The eyeshadows are so decent and nice. But look how big, I'm trying to show this mirror. Look how big this mirror is huge. This is like a laptop. But this was the colors in the palette, which the colors were pretty decent. I'm not complaining, but I don't hardly ever pick up this palette. I need to, because obviously I'm not getting rid of it. And the next biggest one, that's honestly really in size the biggest one, but in regards to the amount of eyeshadows that are in the palette, this Morphe one is my second one. This is besides the Jaclyn Hill, the only big Morphe palette that I have, and this is the 35H. So she has more eyeshadow colors than that Sephora one, but same size, just a little bit smaller. Okay, so palette with the best memory. So this next palette, I'm gonna talk about it before I show it. It came out, it was so hyped up that they couldn't keep it on the shelves. So I remember this is the first time I ever really chased down a palette the way that I did. I remember because Ulta wasn't too far from my job. On my lunch period or right after work was over, I would run to Ulta to see if they had this in stock. So I went to Ulta the day that it released, sold out. I kept going week by week, sold out. And it got to the point where I really wanted this palette because the option was taken away from me. So then the palette eventually, I think maybe a couple months later, became a permanent item versus it being limited edition, and so I finally was able to get it. But that being said, the palette that has my probably best memory, I wouldn't say best memory, but it's just a memory that sticks out versus a lot of the other palettes, and that's the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. Oh my goodness, this palette was crazy to get, and I swear like the Ulta employees were like keeping these for themselves and not putting none on stock when it first came out. And it still smells so good. But mind you, I did all that crazy hounding of this palette, and I barely pick it up now. It's still a cute palette. It's still an everyday palette, but I don't know. The phase fizzled out. Okay, so palette worth the hype. So this next palette, I don't know how hyped it was across YouTube and the beauty community, but I felt like it was hyped enough for me to be like, okay, as soon as it comes out, I'm getting it. And then when I got it, I was actually really amazed. And I think this was my first palette from this brand. But when I swatched this and applied this on my face, I was like, whoa, why is this brand like not talked about more than it should be? Like, it should be talked about more because the pigmentation is like spot on, and it's a USA brand, and the ingredients are not questionable in regards to like outsourced. I don't think so, because it's made in the USA. So anyways, that being said, this palette is a Safari Rain palette by ColouredRaine. I'm telling y'all, these colors in here are bomb. Like, the pigmentation is spot on. And after I got this, I went back and purchased more ColouredRaine eyeshadows because I feel like their formula is like beautiful. Alright, so we got 3 more questions. I'm sorry if this is taking too long, but the palette not worth the hype. So I'm gonna have to give that to Lorac Pro, and I'm just saying that in regards to like, it was really hyped up back in the day when I first started my YouTube channel, and I got it just because it was hyped up. As you can tell, I haven't even touched this, and I've had this for years. I just don't, I think Lorac's shimmers are fine. I don't really like Lorac's formula that much, so I never really was inclined to touch this, play with this as much, and it is, yeah, to me not worth the hype. I'm just saying. But I like the Lorac unzipped one. That one I like. This one I just wasn't, yeah, it was just okay. So favorite palette from a favorite brand. At the moment, my 2 favorite eyeshadow brands are Juvia's Place and Mcgrath. So I picked a palette that currently is my favorite from both brands. So I said Midnight Sun is my favorite 10 pan. It's a 10 pan, the bigger pans. But actually, my favorite is the Golden Opulence. And I say that because, try to hold it up. Ain't nobody really talks about her like that anymore, but I say that because this is an eyeshadow palette that I can use every day. I love my pink tone, so the 2 shimmering colors, and the gold is pretty too, are just right up my alley. And then the 2 mattes right up my alley where she provides like a deeper shade to provide definition in your eye, and then a crease shade. So this is a palette honestly I can use every day. So I like the formula, and this palette is just my favorite at the moment from Mcgrath. So I like a lot of my other ones I have too, but this one is probably my favorite because I like pink toned eyeshadows, and she gave it to me in that palette. And then from Juvia's Place, the Warrior palette is probably my fave, and I like pretty much all of my palettes from Juvia's Place. But this one, I don't have to really think too much from it. You get every tone of gold or bronze or like a taupey gold, and then you get your eye bone color, you get your transition color, your color to deepen the outer V. So this one has to go my favorite palette from Juvia's Place. So last question, my most used palette, and this palette is my most used palette because it's being used kind of by default because I am panning it for the year, and that is the Too Faced Peanut Butter Jellies palette. And I'll just show you what she's looking like. So she's most used because I'm panning her, and by default she gets used every day. Alright guys, that was my 13 questions all about eyeshadows. I love eyeshadows. If you took away most of my makeup, the one thing I probably would buy first is eyeshadows, like especially palettes. Like, you get me with color scheme, and a girl is like, it's like I'm in a candy store. I'm a kid in a candy store. A girl loves eyeshadow palettes. I can't help it. I do. Anyways, so if you have not done this tag and you do video content or Instagram content, I think you should do this video too. If you do not do video content, you can kind of like put your answers to the questions in the comments bar. Like, what's your favorite palette? What's your most used palette? What is your least used palette? What is your favorite brand? What, you know what I'm saying, what's your favorite color palette? Just, you know, you can put that stuff in the comment section. We can have a little whole conversation about the situation, if you, especially if you're a palette lover like myself. But thank you for stopping by my channel and watching my video. Stay for a while, of course, show me some love, and I'll see you guys in the next one.